The world leader, especially the US president right now, he must be facing deep division in the country. And the way he tried to communicate with the public, he tried to blame that it's the worst ever attack on the United States. And right now we have Kun Nad Bunnag joining us.
Hello.
Hello, Kun Nad. So what does the President Trump has communicated lately about the level of the attack? Is it really the worst ever?
Yes, the President Donald Trump has said that the COVID-19 pandemic is the worst attack that the U.S. has ever had. He actually said that this is the worst thing that they ever had compared to these two incidents. But if we actually compare the number of deaths between COVID-19, Pearl Harbor, and the 9/11 attacks, there is a difference here. So the Pearl Harbor incident killed more than 2,400 people, whereas the 9/11 attacks in 2001 killed almost 3,000 people. But for COVID-19 in the US, it already killed more than 73,000 people already. So that is a lot here.
And not only this, that he blamed the virus, the pandemic, that it's the worst attack. He also tried to hold China accountable. He even said that the virus come from Chinese labs. What does he say about this?
So for this one, he keeps saying this thing over and over again, that the virus came from China, the virus came from the Chinese lab. So President Trump still strongly believes that the country to blame for the coronavirus is China. And he also said that the virus could have been stopped in China. But like we've all realized, that Trump has always been criticized for downplaying the severity of the virus as well as the slow response to COVID-19. So we are now seeing that President Trump always blames China for the virus and not really looking at what they could have done to contain the virus in the United States here.
But interestingly, Kun Nad, not everyone in the US agree with President Trump. The idea, his argument has been divided as well. He has supporter and he also have opposing camp as well.
It seems to me that there are more people who are against this claim. For example, of course, the Chinese lab who has been accused for creating this virus and spreading it to the entire world, as well as the scientists who already debunked the claim that the virus is actually man-made. Besides the scientists, the WHO also said last week that the virus was of natural origin. On top of this, they also said that they did not receive any evidence from the US to prove that the virus was from a Chinese lab. Besides the WHO, the Chinese Foreign Ministry called the accusations by Donald Trump as a political strategy for the Republicans to smear China ahead of the presidential elections. So these are the people who are against President Trump's claim. But those who already supported the claim are the Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who claimed that there is significant amount of evidence to prove that the virus actually came from a Chinese lab. Other comments include the top U.S. General Mark Milley, who said that it is still unknown whether the virus actually came from a lab or the wet market in Wuhan or some other location. So Mark Milley, the top U.S. General, his position at the moment is sort of in the middle here.
No, it's very obvious that the reason why President Trump has been saying all these outrageous things is largely because he has his own political agenda. As you can see, he has been promoting a narrative that would be favorable to his chance of getting elected in the November election. So everything that he says today is certainly politically motivated.
Yeah, and always Trump card is Chinese card. because China has always been mentioned as his political game since the last election, Kun Thepchai.
Yes, and I'm sure that he will continue to promote this narrative. I mean, throughout his election campaigns, putting all the blame on China, on WHO, and even his democratic predecessors. I mean, as you can remember, he blamed his predecessor for what he claims to be a shortage of essential medical equipment in dealing with the pandemic.
And to be honest, the way President Trump blames everything on China and other people, I think President Trump will lose marks before the elections at the end of this year. So we have to see how it goes.
Yeah. And the rising contender from Democrats, Joe Biden, seemed to be doing quite well. So we have to see how the politics will play out in the US.